overview of C Sharp, and I have to remind you this is not a full course on C Sharp but a brief overview. There is so much in C Sharp which we can't cover in few videos, and I am trying to give you some understanding within about 15 minutes 20 minutes so that you get the hang of it, so that we can utilize that in our MVC.NET Core MVC projects we are going to create. So basically I will cover variables, loops and branching methods, and a brief introduction to object oriented programming. And okay, so if you are interested in sort of getting more deeper understanding, there is the W3 schools website, so you can go and have a look. Basically here, let me increase the size. um, we call these things collectively as variables. So if somebody is familiar with PHP, unlike PHP, we declare the variables beforehand. So that means we say the name my number represents a variable which is an integer. Integer means full numbers, or what we call whole number, and in this case we declare another variable double. That means it is a floating point number, so basically it has some figures after the decimal point. And also you can use what is called the character, that is a single letter or single symbol. And then there is what is called the boolean, that is we start with the letter bool. Boolean means normally true or false, or in some languages that is treated as 0 or 1. And then string type, that is some sort of text or letters and numbers and so many other things. So um, you can use the W3 schools to learn about that. Maybe it is a good idea to practice that exercise on W3X schools. There is some more detailed description about that, so we'll leave it to you. So we'll get back to our thing. So this is not the way to learn C Sharp, but because I don't want to carry you away from the MVC project what we are doing, so I will display some features of the language and the variables and things like that using the same project. So here we are in the display method. Will declare a variable integer. We'll give it a name, my integer equals say 5, integer say your integer that equals say 7. So what I am doing here is I will set the variable called my integer equals to 5, and this variable called your integer to 7. All the statements, we call them statements, should finish with the semicolon. Some languages doesn't use that semicolon, say, and but you need to have the semicolon, otherwise you get an error message. So we can say, as if we remember previously, we can say view view bag dot um, we'll say addition equals my integer plus your integer. Okay, now when we run this one, so this view bag object will go to the display view file and we'll see what is it here. Okay, let me see. So we need to go to the display folder. So let me see. We don't need car controller. Okay, display HTML. Okay, home controller. So it is called viewbag.addition. Rather than typing again, we'll copy that. So in this one, okay, just say h2. By the way, if you like to learn little bit of HTML, because this is just simple pure HTML, you can learn that as well on W3 School. It is a very nice website. Yeah, okay. So we will see whether our addition will come here. Okay, our addition is, so when we put this one, it should output this text and then followed by this this value. Okay, we'll see how it comes. Debug, start debugging. Getting there slowly. So where are we? Display. We need to type in display. Okay, slash home display. Okay, our addition is 12, and so let me check whether it is right. So we have 5 plus 7, so that is 12. Okay, stop debugging. Where is that? Yeah, okay. um, we can do same with other types of variables. So instead of integer, you can say um, we learned about some other ones. So we can say double double your value. Okay, maybe we'll say your value, because it is not an integer. 7.55. So now you can see it is showing this part with a red underline, so that is to say it can't find that one. So unlike in PHP, one advantage is, so even before you put it to debug, you can see most of the errors. So now you need to change this one, because we are going to do your value. So now it is showing 12.55. So it has just added the integer to the double value. um, we'll see what happens if we say 5.5, and you can see it is immediately bringing up the error message, or immediately showing the red lines to say it is an error. So if we try to build this project, what will happen? We'll say build the solution. So it will bring up an error message. So it says cannot implicitly convert type double to integer. So because this one is interpreted as a double value or value with the decimal point, it can't convert it to an integer. So it shows where the error is. It is in the file home controller and the line number is 39. So it is in the 39. But you can use a implicit conversion. We'll see what is that implicit conversion is. Okay, let me see. So in front of this, if you say int, then it will force this number to be an integer, so that you can see the error message has disappeared. Now we can say start debugging. We'll see what happens. Maybe we should add a, okay, all right. And so our addition is 12.55. So what happened to this 0.5? So because we have converted it to an integer, we have lost that uh, extra half here. Okay, maybe we will delete this part, display view created. We don't need that one. So another feature I want to show is, okay, stop debugging. We'll go back to our home controller. Where are we? Here. We were here. Yeah, okay. Other thing is, instead of saying double, we see a lot of people use the word var. Um, what this one does is it will allocate the type of variable according to the statement itself. So when you type var and when it sees 7.55, it realize this must be a double, so it is automatically converting it to a double value. So let me see. So you can do the same thing with integer. So instead of that, you can say var, so it will automatically accept the value. This is sometimes easy in programming. So sometimes if you are not sure what type of variable you are going to get, so you can just say var and see the results. But there are limitations of using the word var. uh, okay, so we'll just have a look at how this thing pans out to be. Click home display. Maybe we will add here. Okay, so it has bring up the same thing. So 7.5 added with 5. But if you now, if you like, you can remove this thing and we'll see what happens. Remove this conversion to integer. Stop debugging. Maybe we will add the link to shared layout. So we will add the link to display because we are going to use it a lot. We can delete it later. So controller is home and action is display. Okay, one thing I want to mention is that you can put comments on files so that you can later see what you have done, or somebody else who is following your code understand what you have done. So in the CSHTML files, you start comments this symbol and then end the comment with the symbol star as to at symbol, and start the comment with at symbol followed by star. Okay, we'll see the following section to be removed later, so that we know what to do later. Just some example comment, and same here. You can put a comment line on this one. There are two ways to put the comments in the C# files. One is using double slash. um, this is basic C#. Other option is you can use followed by. Advantage of this method is you can use it to completely disable a part. So we will disable this part and see what happens. So if you disable this part, then it is complaining, it doesn't know what is my int and your value. You can see it already here. You don't have to wait, compile and see, or compile and run and see, just like in PHP. We'll say comment. Okay. That is basically about variables. So we'll talk a little bit about branching. Okay. um, okay, we'll one of the famous branching or most popular in all the languages is the if command. So here we can say if, that is how it starts, and then you have to have a statement inside the bracket. So if my integer plus your value is larger than 12, and then that should follow by either a single statement or it should follow by a set of statements. So um, even if it is a single statement, I would advise you to use brackets, this curly bracket. So I will explain to you there in one. Okay, alright, we'll use without the curly brackets this time. Okay, we'll just use the view bag again. View bag dot message, will say it will say addition is larger than 12. So we want to see that viewbag.message in the other file. So we'll say Control C. We'll go to this one. Okay, and maybe we'll do the same thing. H2. so we can see the message. Maybe we can add another line. Okay, probably not necessary. Okay, and we'll see what happens. So we'll start debugging. Okay, we did the same mistake again. Anyway, we'll click the car. So it brings up the message. Our addition is 12.55 as previously. Addition is larger than 12. Okay, and okay, now we look at the loops and branching. See where we are. Okay, and yeah, this is a way of branching. So you can do something if this condition is true. In addition to that, we can add a else clause. So what to do if it is not? So we'll copy and paste. Addition is smaller. It is always a good practice to add curly brackets here. I will do it this time. So main advantage is you won't add another statement and forget that. If you don't have curly brackets, the second statement will not be executed in this case. So in the case when the value is larger than 12. So now this is a proper branching statement. So if this value is larger than 12, it should come to here. If it is smaller than 12, it should come here. So maybe we'll make it smaller than 12, just change it to 6 and see what happens. Okay, by the way, we will change this. This is not car, this is display. So now the addition is 11.55 and the addition is smaller than 12. Okay, now we'll try to show you how a loop works. So we have done some simple branching. There are so many other branching options, but one we have done. When it comes to loops, there are several popular loops. We'll just comment this line out and we'll see. There is the popular for loops starting from early days of C, and then there is for each loop, and then there is while, and then there is do loop. Those are the sort of common types of loops. We'll see how the for loop works just for argument's sake. For loop starts with for, just declare an integer I equals 1 as a counter, and then we will do this until I is smaller than 10. What we do is we will increment the value of I by 1 in each loop. So what will happen is when it comes to for statement, it will do this one. I becomes equal to 1 and it will compare it with this statement in the middle, whether I is smaller than 10. Yes, it is smaller than 10. So it will execute the statements here and then come back and increment it by 1. I plus plus refers to increasing it by 1. So then again see whether it is satisfying this condition. If so, it will proceed to do that. So we'll see. So we will need to define a variable, say integer sum, because we are trying to do the summation of this number. So we want to add sum plus equals I. So we want to add all the numbers from 1 to 9. So in the first instance it will add 1, in the second run it will add 2 to that summation, and it will bring up the sum at the end. So we will say addition. So actually this is sum, but anyway we'll use the same name, equals sum. So the addition of all the numbers will equal to sum, and we'll see how it works. So our addition is 45. Okay, let me see. So it is numbers 1 to 9, because when it comes to 10 it will skip the loop. So 1 plus 9 is 10. That means the middle value is 5. 5 times we have 9 numbers, 9 times this one going in the loop. So 9 times 5 is 45. So it is, our answer is correct. Yeah, okay. Okay, last thing I am going to do in this video is the method. So we'll leave the introduction to object oriented programming into a separate video, otherwise it is going to be more than half an hour. I want to keep it brief, between 15 minutes and half an hour. So we'll see what are methods. So now you have seen this part. So we will stop debugging. Okay, now I want to show you this one. Okay, other thing we can see here is, yes, this answer is correct. The addition is smaller than 12 because we have changed the values here to 6.55. So now it is coming to this, because this part get executed if it is larger than 12. Now this, it comes to this part, addition is smaller than 12. Okay, let me stop debugging. We'll see now. Once you know some part of the program is working all right, one thing you can do is you can select that part and create it to a separate file or separate method. We call it refactoring. So it is fairly easy to do that in Visual Studio. Select the part you want to convert to a separate method. You right click and select quick actions and refactoring. So it will create this one into a separate file. You can see what is preview changes, so how it looks like. Okay, if there is nothing we are worried about, so we'll say apply. So it has created what is called a new method. So maybe we will give it a new name. So summation. We'll give it a name, and so it will click apply. So it has created the new method called sum. So this is the new method, private static integer sum. So it will return the value sum. So it will receive the value sum, which is 0, and it will do the summation and then the return the value sum. So we'll see how it works. So it brings the same answer. Um, you can do the same thing manually, so there is no need to do it using the method I have shown. Okay, now we will start to do this part using a manually created method. So we'll disable that part using comment mark. So this part is now disabled. Okay, we'll create a new method. So private static string, we'll say compare integer. Okay, let me see. So they are not integers. Yeah, okay, maybe we will remove this part. Compare value. This part which says private will determine where this method can be accessed or where this method can be seen. This will say whether it is a static method or not. So we'll discuss that later. And this will show, it will return a string, that means something text. And this is the name of the method, and these are the parameters. So it need a double value. Okay, so if so we will use the same thing as this. If value is larger than 12, else do this. So we'll say return large. So if you want to copy the same line, you can just press Ctrl C. Unlike in Microsoft Word, you don't have to select the range, so you can just press Ctrl C to copy and press Ctrl V to paste. So if it is smaller than 12, it will return small. Okay, if the value is larger than 12, return large, is return small. So the values we have is now 5.5 and 6.55. Okay, and now we want to send it as viewback.message. So viewback.message equals, so we will use the new method called summation, not summation, sorry, compare and we can send this my us. Even though this method accepts only a single parameter, because we are adding them inside the method call, it will be treated as a single parameter. Now we'll see what happens. So it will say the message large. Now you see that we are not treating these ones as integers, we are treating these ones as decimal values. Um, you can see when you move the mouse cursor here, it says what is the type of local variable. It says double, so that means it will accept decimal point. So because of that, it has added 5.5 into 6.55, and it will be 12.05, so it is larger than 12. So our comparison here, if value is larger than 12, it should bring the word large. So that is what it shows. Show you again here. So it says value is large. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in another video about brief introduction to uh, object oriented programming. Thanks for watching.